the City of Gladstone regular meeting for January 25th to order. First up will be invocation and pledge allegiance led by Reverend Tom Otis from First Lutheran Church.
I'm Tom Otis. I'm the pastor at First Lutheran Church in Gladstone. And as we begin this process of praying, we pray and ask God's guidance and peace and unity for us, because we're here for one reason: we love our city, and we want to make the wisest and best decisions we can. So I'm going to read a prayer that is part of morning prayer in the Episcopal Church every morning, and its first wording in the United States came from the 1791 Episcopal Book of Common Prayer. Give peace, O Lord, in all the world, for only in Thee can we live in safety. Lord, keep this nation under Thy care, and guide us in the way of justice and truth. Let Thy way be known upon the earth, and Thy saving health among all nations. Heavenly Father, bless us as we discern this day the wisest use of the resources You have placed before us. Amen. There it is.
All right.
I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. All right. Roll call.
Mayor Bostwick,
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Here.
Commissioner Phelan,
Here.
Commissioner Thompson,
Here.
Commissioner View.
Here. All right, first up is public comment. All right, hearing none. We are on to the consent agenda for the regular meeting of January 11th, the DDA subcommittee meeting of December 14th, Parks and Rec for December 16th, and payment of bills.
I'll move to accept the consent agenda.
Support.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Thompson to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is new business, the appointment to the Planning Commission, Mr. Howard Howlett. Darla?
We accept applications for all boards continuously. Howard applied, and with the passing of Mr. Jack Sepik, we have an opening. Howard qualifies to be a planning commission member. To you, if you'd like to appoint him.
I move that we appoint Mr. Howard Hallett to the Planning Commission to fulfill the vacancy left by the passing of Mr. Jack Sepik.
I support.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Thompson, support by Commissioner Phelan to appoint Mr. Howard Howlett to the Planning Commission. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the resolution number 201602, opposition to Public Act 269. Hey, Kim, can you talk a little bit about this?
Your state legislatures recently passed the Public Act 269. You received, I put a copy of the whole act in it, but MML summary is a bit easier to follow if you didn't, understand the full entire act. But basically what it is saying, it's being referred to as in municipalities or, in local, like school boards and things, like a gag order. That's what it's kind of been called at. What it does is it's restricting when a local unit of government, if they have a proposal that's on a ballot, 60 days prior to that election, they cannot offer any information to the public about that. So, for instance, we just had a recent proposal on a ballot. 60 days prior to that election, if somebody were to come to the city manager, any one of you as commissioners, and say, what is this? What's going on with this? Can you tell me more about it? They would have to say, per state law, I cannot. Yeah, it doesn't really sit well with us as, that's, our role. I could refrain because I do the elections, and I usually do, to say, I'm not, I'm going to refer you to one of them to talk about it because I administer the election, so I'm not going to say you should, you shouldn't, here's the pros and cons to it. But that's me as an election official. There's already standards in place for me to follow. There is already standards, or laws, they're not standards, that were in place that prohibit, we can't just use municipal tax dollars to promote, a big billboard that says, vote yes on this proposal or vote no. You can only do like fact sheets that says, here are the facts. You make up your own mind. They wouldn't even be able to do that with this act in place. There's already talk about there's going to be some amendments to it, whatnot. I think some are already in or being considered. But MML, which is the Michigan Municipal League, they lobby on behalf of municipalities, have been very active in getting out and saying, they opposed it from the beginning, but trying to now get municipalities to pass resolutions to say, we are not in support of Public Act 269 with that language that has been added, basically restricting them from providing even just the facts, within a 60-day window. And a 60-day window is usually when voters will come to you and say, what's this all about? That's usually when you get the most people coming to it. It's not early, that they want to do it. So that's basically a little summary. I don't know if you want to read the
no.
whole summary
Yeah, I'll
or
read it.
the resolution, what it's saying.
Yeah.
It goes into a bit more detail, but that's kind of the gist of
Okay. I knew
the
you'd be better
concern.
at explaining it.
Well, that's,
All right, I'll read what the resolution is. Whereas Governor Snyder signed into law with immediate effect Public Act 269, Senate Bill 571, despite widespread calls for a veto of this bill, including from members of his own party, and whereas both the Michigan Senate and Michigan House of Representatives passed Senate Bill 571 late in the night of December 16, 2015, just prior to recessing for the year. And whereas one of the last-minute amendments made to Senate Bill 571 without the knowledge of the Michigan Municipal League or other local government organization and approved without any public testimony or awareness was the new language inserted into Section 57, subsection 3, and whereas this new law prohibits a public body or person acting for a public body from using public funds or resources for the purpose of communicating any information to the electorate regarding a local ballot question that is to appear on the ballot within 60 days of an election. And whereas this law places an immediate gag order on entities with ballot questions on the March 8th ballot in every election thereafter. And whereas municipal elected and appointed officials have a civic and legal duty to the residents of their communities to fully inform them regarding the issues placed before them upon which they may exercise their constitutional right to vote. And whereas existing laws, including the former language in Section 57 and decades of guidance from the Michigan Secretary of State, already prohibit the use of public funds to advocate for or against ballot issues. And whereas existing laws already provided for allowance for elected and appointed officials to express their views without fear of violating the act. And whereas, because the new law bans only communication on local ballot issues, it creates inconsistent treatment of statewide ballot question versus local initiatives. And whereas there are substantial questions regarding the constitutionality and legality of the new law, including a possible ban on freedom of speech. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Gladstone calls for an immediate repeal of the new language in 57, subsection 3 of PA 269 of 2016, And now, therefore, be it finally resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the city state representative in the Michigan House or represented in the Michigan Senate.
So basically, we, at this point, if we had a big election coming up in March, we wouldn't be able to talk at all about anything that affects the citizens of Gladstone or anything because of, even now, this is in effect, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, we have to follow this law as it is written now. As they mentioned in their summary, there is already, and if you read in the summary as well, also Governor Snyder, even after approving it, sent a letter, which was unusual, encouraging, legislation to correct some of maybe the glitches or whatever in it, which was a little unusual. So I'm sure, we will most likely see some amendment to this, but as it stands right now, yes, this is in effect. So if you think back just our last election, we had a local bond proposal on there.
Town hall meetings were no good then.
Well,
I mean, if
they
there was
could
60
have been, and
They
they're,
were within 60 days of the election.
We
Right.
couldn't have had them.
but once you're 60 days out, it would have been, according to the law, which everything, says, well, that's how you interpret it, whatever. What they're saying is that would have been, you would not have been able to discuss it. Whether they meant to go that far or not, we'll find out in the amendments, but as it stands right now, yes. So if, we were unsuccessful in that one, if you were to go for another one.
I just find it mind-boggling that the Senate would pass something where you can't communicate with the people in your town about what's affecting your town. It just seems far-fetched that,
Crazy.
I mean, you can't spend the money anyways, it already says in there,
Right.
so.
Right, there's other laws that are already, that clearly say what a city could spend to promote, or, you clearly can't promote it, you can put out the facts about it. But, one interesting scenario would be if a resident came in and just said, tell me what this does, tell me how this would benefit the city, or,
Wouldn't
why
do
do
it.
you need it? The manager or any of you would not be able to do that, so.
Well, my understanding of it, I would move that we adopt the resolution number 2016-02 as read by the mayor.
I'll support that.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Thompson for the resolution 201602, opposition to Public Act 269. Any more discussion?
I just have one comment. It's Senate Bill 571. Where is it in this bill? I tried reading this bill to see where this information was in there.
It's on the last page.
Oh, it's the last page.
Section
I never got that far.
There's a lot.
There's
in
a
that.
lot.
There's a
You gave us a
in
lot and it
so
scared me.
Not to say that, Public Act 269 in its entirety is all bad, but they added that section which causes a bit of concern for most municipalities.
Do you know what the vote was on this? I mean, was it a close vote or?
I don't off the top of my head. You can go in to the state and the Senate, websites and see who voted how on it, so you could see how the vote went.
It'd be nice to know who added that.
Yeah, that's,
Well,
It's probably not easy to mine out of that.
it's easier than you think,
Information.
but if you go into, like I said, the state reps,
I'd like to know.
site, I could get you the websites, I don't remember them, I have them on favorites, but, you can go into each of those, and see where it is in progress and kind of follow it and see when it's going, if it's going for committee, is it being pulled up, for a vote? There were quite a few things, which happens, at the end of the year, that get considerations or pulled up, and there were a few on elections. So
Just for-
you could, if you go to I could get you their websites.
Just for
information.
clarity though, we're not reputing the whole Act 571, we're just the last part, 269, correct?
Right, those
Okay.
points of it, and, like I said, even though you passed this resolution saying we are in opposition
We're still-
of that, you're still obligated to follow the letter of the law. But this will aid in, helping our legislators support possible amendments to that. Yeah, an interesting process. So, wait and see. We will need to do a roll call on this one.
Okay. Any more discussion?
By roll call.
Okay, we'll have a vote by roll call then.
Commissioner View?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Yes.
Commissioner Phelan?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Bostwick?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next is set public hearing for February 8th for the RRLF loan for Delphab under the Regional Revolving Loan Fund.
Yep. Just a little background. The city used to administer the revolving loan fund, RLF money. It was originally a CDBG grant that the city received. It's, this money is federal HUD money, so there are federal requirements that the city had to go through, that now Northern Initiatives has to go through, and a public hearing is one of them. A couple years ago, the state contacted the city and all municipalities that had similar CDBG money and said, to continue to administer this, you need to go through certain, steps and whatever. They were really forcing everybody to go to a regional administrator. And there were qualifications for a company to become an administrator of these funds. Northern Initiatives was the only company in the UP that put a proposal in to be the administrator for the UP funds. The Michigan Strategic Fund Board approved Northern Initiatives. So it's been a good couple years now. We turned all of our money over to Northern Initiatives. But we turned over about $350,000. And until that $350,000 is loaned out and repaid, we will have to continue to go through public hearings when people apply for the money. So they contact Northern Initiatives, fill out all the paperwork, they do all the background stuff. They're at the public hearing point here now, so if we could set February 8th for a public hearing for Delphab. They're requesting $200,000. It's a working capital loan to purchase materials. At the public hearing, Colleen Duflo from Northern Initiatives will be here to answer any questions. We taken, comments from the public. And last fall, the state sent the city a letter saying that we had to do a loan by December 31st, 2015. If we didn't, they would start to take our money back to the state level, away from Northern Initiatives. All entities in the UP said, time out. You can't expect us within, 12 months or 6 months even to get these funds out into the community. You need to give us more time. So we just got a letter a couple weeks ago. They did extend that deadline till June 30th, 2016. So if this loan, completely goes through and is closed, that will be considered, we are loaning out the money. They will back off from collecting our money back to the state level. So that was a good thing. There's just under 5 million total. That's the UP, everybody's RLF money put together. It's just under 5 million. There's been a successful loan closed in Kingsford already. They were working on a couple loans in the western UP, but this would be the first for Gladstone here. And
Who actually approves these, us or this Northern Initiative takes care of everything?
the ultimate decision is the state of Michigan.
Okay, we're just holding the hearing.
We're holding the hearing. We submit all of our comments to the state of Michigan with the full packet that Northern Initiatives has put together, and the state ultimately has the say.
So if we don't lend the money out, we lose it by June?
If we don't do a loan by June 30th, they will start proceedings to take our $350,000 back to the state level.
And then whoever you loan the money to, who gets the money when they pay it back? Because it's a payback loan, right?
Yeah, Northern Initiatives is administrator.
But we get credit for it as it's paid back, and then can it still go back to the state of Michigan if you don't use it in another, because you're gonna get everything back, right? I mean, I don't know how this works, so that's why I'm asking the question.
It's basically a revolving loan, right?
Correct,
You
yep.
lend it out, it
It's
comes
paid
back,
back.
they use it again to lend to
Yep.
somebody else.
It's revolving.
It's-
We were very successful in lending
None
out
of
this
it's,
money.
none of it's our money. It's
Correct.
actually come, did you say from the federal level?
It's federal, it's HUD money
Okay.
given to the state of Michigan to administer in CDBG grants.
Well, glad that a Gladstone company can use it.
Yep.
I'll move that we set a public hearing on February 8th, 2016 for the RRLF loan for Delphab Incorporated.
I'll support.
All right, got motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Phelan to set public hearing for February 8th, 2016 for the RRLF fund. All those, for Delphab. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is city manager's report.
Let's see, a couple things. We had several meetings today with Vicki Schwab, the Delta County EDA Director. I think they went very well. She's going to come February 8th to our commission meeting and do a presentation publicly, kind of give a 2015 wrap-up. And her, funding request, it's really for 2015, the year that she just closed. We do have $7,000 budgeted for that, and then we'll work on the future contributions for that. So I think those went very well, very informative. She does a lot for Delta County. In front of you, I received a quarterly newsletter from Charter Communications. I'm just passing on information on that. Also in front of you was a little article from Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority. That's our insurance company. Data reminds public officials of impending retirement surge. Couple paragraphs down, the local government workforce is especially vulnerable to retirement pressure, with the percentage of workers at least 50 years of age, 37%, significantly higher than the private sector at 28%. So the baby boomers are getting towards retirement age, and there's not the same amount of workers on the other end, to replace those jobs. So we do face this here at the city when we have, some key staff retiring, and so it's something that we kind of keep in mind. Been working a lot lately on the proposed 2016-2017 budget. We'll go over it one more time tomorrow morning with my staff, and then by tomorrow late afternoon we should have the packet ready for next Monday and Tuesday's budget workshops. Just wanted to mention the after-school program at the Ski Hill, Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. The Recreation Department went and did presentations at Rapid River School, Escanaba, Holy Name, and then, of course, Gladstone. And our attendance already this year has doubled from last year. So very, very popular program. We get a really positive response from parents, the kids that go up there and participate in the after-school program. It's a good place for the kids to go, and they get to do, they get a healthy snack. They have 45 minutes to do their homework, and then the hill opens at 4 o'clock, and they can get some exercise outside. So very well received. Lastly, Commissioner View, you were looking at, Craig Warple has invited us to come to the radio station there. Actually, last Thursday, I talked with Susie Larson at Radio Results Network, different station.
Right.
And I have this coming Thursday an appointment with her. We'll tape it on Thursday, and it'll be aired on Friday. I just wanted to get out there, the budget workshops, 4 to 7, encourage people to attend. Wanted to give an update on the ski hill and the ice rink, and a couple other things going on in Gladstone. So what were you thinking for the WDBC program?
He just approached me and would like us to alternate, or whatever commissioners, 2 commissioners at a time, maybe a staff member if there's something important going on, to get it out to the public right away after a meeting. He thinks Tuesday, 8:30, 8:40, do a taping on the radio. I don't know if it's live or, and he thought that would be a good service for the community where we could promote the positive, whatever positive stuff we can move forward with in Gladstone. And I thought it was a good idea, so I emailed everyone, and he wants to start tomorrow. So if anyone wants to say something. There ain't much to say for tonight, but I mean, you can still promote that we're doing,
Oh, yeah.
the same thing you're doing on RRN. I mean, there's different
Right.
people listen to
Yep,
different
stations.
demographics for the stations that they play, so I thought it'd be good for Jay if he wanted to go one time, and Jay and, just pair up, just, if we have that opportunity to get that, I think we shouldn't pass it up.
Well, I'm available tomorrow morning if somebody else wanted to come, or,
I'm not busy.
I can go
Schedule's
with it.
tight this week.
okay.
I'm taking the day off, it's my birthday.
Wow. 82?
You know it. And counting.
All right, anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
All right, next is the board and commission reports. Commissioner Thompson, you're on the City Hall subcommittee,
and I-
right?
Yeah.
I wasn't able to make it to the.
Oh, you weren't able to?
He missed
Okay.
the first meeting. I can
Okay,
give a
well,
highlight
yeah,
from it.
Okay, why don't,
January 20th, the City Hall and DPW Building Committee met. We talked about City Hall first, and we kind of prioritized the list that we had left. Back in 2010, OHM engineering firm came and did an analysis of all of City Hall, and they kind of had this list, if we stay here, if we can renovate these things, upgrade these things, we would preserve, you know, the building and stuff. We felt at the top of the list would be tuck pointing on the outside of the building and the restrooms. So we looked at the, you know, estimates from when OHM did the study. We're hoping in the 2016-17 fiscal year, we can do the restrooms and tuck pointing. Prioritization after that, we thought electrical upgrades would be next, windows on the main floor and the upstairs, and then remodeling or upgrading some interior areas of City Hall. Looking at, you know, if we could fit 50,000 in the budget for 4 years, we should be able to accomplish these tasks, and have a much better, you know, City Hall building to last us well into the future. On the DPW building side, we talked about all the other areas that we were exploring in the city. We felt as a committee, though, that the existing location really works well for the DPW operations. So if we can come up with a list of, when we stay there, what needs to be done to that building, just to bring it up to code. Roof and siding was definitely kind of at the top of the list, but then, you know, same importance would be your ventilation and your heating and cooling inside, flow of, it really needs to be a secure facility. It's pretty much wide open to the public right now. But for our next meeting, we're gonna meet again mid-February. Mark was gonna look through some of the plans that we had, when we bid out to build a whole new one, and then try to come up with some estimated costs. And then, is that a 4-year plan, 5-year plan? How much can we fit this next year? And what would be a budget going forward for that? Kinda like we did City Hall, 50,000 a year. So, that's kinda where we're at.
Do we have to do it that way? I mean, if we could squeeze a little money out of the budget this year, could we take that and throw it at what we want to throw it
We
at?
could, yeah.
Rather than trying to
Piecemeal.
allocate 50,000 a year for 4 years, especially in the financial state we're in now, you know, we gotta kinda watch what we're doing.
Right.
I would rather take what we have when we know what's available after we do our budget and see what's gonna be left, and then see how much we can allocate towards stuff like that. I mean, to me, that would make more sense.
We were hoping, you know, but until we go through the budget process, we don't really know where we're at.
Okay.
So, we would actually prefer kind of a lump sum to get us through, and
Or you have estimates on that already, or?
we don't, no.
We would have to submit this for bids and everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, if the dollar amounts exceeded our policies, we would have to find contractors to bid on certain items. So it was a good meeting, an hour. We're gonna continue to do research and meet again mid-February.
all right, thank you. And today, the compost site subcommittee met. I'm not gonna go into as much detail as that because we're still in the planning stages, but we're talking about the $4.95 city fee that is on everyone's bills. It's broken up into 4 areas: forestry, alley maintenance, compost, and city cleanup. So that that generates around $150,000 annually. And the compost site gets 45,000 of it. So we're still looking at ways that we can keep the, I don't know how the right word of saying it. You were there, Steve, probably.
Just to satisfy the citizens and having a place to put their leaves and stuff like that. You know, there were a lot of things they talked about and a lot of new ideas, and I think the public's gonna have a nice options to look at for doing things without raising price, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there should not be any raise at all.
That's the key.
Yep. So, all right, next up is going to be public comment.
We skipped the fiscal year
Oh, we did.
2015-16
Yes.
monthly year-to-date.
We skipped it.
Thought we were saving the best for last.
Yes, okay, back to the fiscal year 2015-16 monthly year-to-date financial reports. Vicky's not here, so,
She's not, but I kind of went through the, what we normally, give you as the revenue and expense reports. We did include balance sheets this time at the end. Really two different pieces of information between the revenue and expense report and the balance sheets. At this point of the year, we're through December 31st. We have 3 more months to go. If you look at the general fund, we brought in $2,306,000, and we've spent $2,383,000. So we're in the hole by $77,000. It's not a problem. January, we accept tax payments through February 28th. January and February, we do collect a lot of taxes. We still have a couple more payments from the state on revenue sharing. Seasonality, a lot of your Parks and Recreation, things are done for the year, the harbor and the campground and the beach. Ski Hill, we just started the Ski Hill, so that's not even really reflective on here. So in the next couple months here, we really look at, budgeted transfers for administrative purposes. All of that is done, prior to March 31st. I feel pretty comfortable. The general fund is looking pretty good this year. Hoping to put a little bit more into fund balance than the $7,000 budgeted. So that's kind of how I look at the budgets at this point, kind of revenue in whole compared to expenses. In your street funds, Act 51 money, we're 6 weeks behind on Act 51 money, so even as of March 31st, we post a receivable for that next payment, because that's really revenue from the current fiscal year. So we do all that in March. With I hate to say this, but the mild winter, thank you, Mother Nature. If you look at the winter maintenance line items in both Major Street and Local Street, we've barely touched them. So we have plenty of winter to go. I hoping to stay, in this situation, but we do have plenty of winter to go. On the enterprise funds, electric, solid waste, water, sewer, billing is a month behind. So as of December 31st, that's really revenue through November 30th. We read the meters on the 1st of the month. Payments are due the 15th of the month. So it's really, we're a month behind on revenue, so that's always reflective. We will post April's revenue back to March when that billing cycle is done. So if revenue looks a little low in those funds, you're missing a month revenue, so. That was pretty much the highlights there. And on the balance sheet, the key things to look at, in each fund, you look at the cash balance. We're doing okay, cash-wise in all of our funds, except the equipment fund. And then, net revenues and expenses at towards the bottom of the balance sheet. That's just year-to-date net of revenues and expenses. That doesn't actually get closed into fund balance till the end of the year. Closed into fund balance or taken from fund balance if we don't have enough revenue. So, any questions on any funds I can try to answer, or any further information?
all right. Hearing no comments, then. On to public comment.
name is Orvis Velikat. I live at 34 Mapleview Drive. And I want to thank you commissioners for finally getting my dog restriction sign up at the beach. But the person in charge of parks and that, I think you really should have her reevaluated. Go down there and have yourself a good laugh. When you post a property or post anything, where do you put your signs? Go down there and see where she put the sign. In front of the beach house, down at the water. Not out by the driveway where it should be before the people get on the beach for the dog restrictions. But I thought that was funny. And I don't know, I talked to several different people about this DDA association. I would like all you to really consider about terminating that division, because that would really put some money back into your coffer. Like you said, you need $50,000 to restore this place. There's the money right there to do the building here. Because the DDA is draining money from the school and it's draining it from the data system. So why not eliminate them? They're not doing the city any good anymore. They did do some at one time, refaced all the stores. Outside of that, they haven't done much, except dump a ton of money in that building they're in. And they also eliminated the parking lot on Main Street. That didn't make sense to me. When you got a beautiful pavilion down there, you could have left the farmer's market down there. And another comedy to me is when she put that school playground up on the hill where nobody's going to use it. She'll put it down by the pavilion where people picnic. The kids could have used it there. I think all of you should better evaluate that gal. She don't know what she's doing, I don't believe. She might be book smart, but come to common sense.
All right, is
She
there
needs
anything
a
else?
lot. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
What's that?
I would like to get a written answer from you, what you plan on doing to help reduce the expense of this city. I'm requesting a written answer from you. What is
Be a
your...
FOIA request.
Pardon?
That would be a FOIA request for,
I can give you
The
a
city
form
clerk?
to fill out exactly what you want, because I need it in writing of exactly what you want.
I just want his opinion what he's gonna do for this year, what he proposes to do.
Because we do have the budget workshops coming up on the
Not-
first
not
and
a budget,
second,
what
and
he's
that,
gonna do.
who is going to
Well,
do
well, I
the
can't
mayor.
do anything on my own without
No,
us
no, I mean,
commissioners.
what is your game plan of what you would like to do?
That's what we'll be talking about at the budget workshops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
May I get a letter on that, or what you're doing?
we can provide you with the,
A written answer?
a written answer, which is going to be the proposed budget that's discussed at those
Right.
workshops, and then.
So in other
there
words,
will
you're
be
not gonna
discussion.
commit yourself to what you wanna do?
The workshops are for them to talk about it and figure out exactly what that is,
Okay.
So until those occur, for the mayor to put in writing what he's gonna do, it's gonna be a commission as a whole decision. So the workshops would be very informative to come and hear that discussion. And then after, when the budget is recommended for introduction to the public, that then will spell out, what the priorities are in that budget.
Okay.
So, not that they couldn't get it for you, but right now is a little premature for them to put that in writing. They haven't had the workshops yet and made that decision
But
yet.
everybody's got an idea what they would like to do for the city.
Right, and the commissioners all bring those, they bring
Yeah.
each and every one of those to
I
the
realize nothing
workshop.
can be instituted until the commission meets and puts it to order.
Right, and they have to come to a consensus with that and built into the budget. So that's what they'll be doing, at those workshops, so.
But everybody's
yeah.
got an idea of what they want to bring into that budget, is what I'm looking for. If any, what people propose to do in this system.
Right, we proposed all of our things to the city manager, who
Yeah, yeah.
then does the budget, and then we approve it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
asking, of your ideas of how you want to do to improve the city.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's all I got to say.
All right, anyone else?
My name is Ken Levine, live at 2722 South Hill Road, Gladstone. I just have a question, that's all. That $90,000 that we took out of the electrical fund, is that going to be paid back to the electric fund, or is that going to be used to balance the budget?
What 90,000 are you referring to?
For that fire truck? Remember, we took a loan out of the electrical fund of $90,000?
The initial check was 60 for the down payment. That will be paid back because the John and Melissa Bessie Foundation money is covering all the
Yes, I
fire truck
understand
and
that.
the equipment.
You mean it's only 60 and it's not 90? Oh, okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, next up is the city commissioner comments. Commissioner Phelan.
I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Come to the budget meetings Monday and Tuesday. We can have pizza. Bring your own food.
Bring your own food. All right, Commissioner Thompson.
I'd like to throw something out there that maybe everybody in town can help with, and that's trying to keep sidewalks clear. I do a lot of walking in town, I know a lot of other people do, and there are a lot of sidewalks out there that could use a shovel. And there are a lot of people that park and block off the sidewalks all over town, and they probably don't realize that they shouldn't be doing that. I know every time I see somebody doing that, I usually, stop and talk to them and let them know. But, if you see your neighbors doing that, or you see somebody doing that, help out, because, it's really hard getting around in town now with, with snow everywhere and cars parked on sidewalks, and that's all I got.
All right, Commissioner View.
I would just like to offer to the citizens, I'm in a unique situation. I got a couple of buildings down Main Street, and I am semi-retired, meaning I do what I want when I want. Sometimes my businesses are closed because I got to go places and do things, but I also want to open it up to anyone in the public that has any concerns or would like to talk to me about anything on city issues, as far as their input, so that I may do the best ability I can. I get a lot of people talking to me now, and I kind of speak for them, and I want to continue doing that, but the bigger group of people that inform me, the better off I'll be in having the whole picture of what the common good is for the citizens. And I just, we got an email address, we got information down at City Hall. Feel free. I'll come and talk to you one-on-one at your house. I've even started going to houses, just knocking on doors, just to find out what they're interested in. This budget thing that's coming up, it's kind of new for me. It's going to be kind of scary, looking at all these figures and trying to figure out what's best for the citizens. What better way to know what's best when I get the input from them? And my heart's going to be in it that way, and I just want to let the people know that. That's it.
All right, thank you. And I don't have anything to add, so city clerk comments.
I just have, in addition, this is coming up at the end of the fiscal year, which is very busy time for City Hall. We're kind of doing end-of-year stuff, but also our fiscal year doesn't end till March, so getting budget workshops set, our regular meetings, and just regular routine business going on is very busy. But then we are also in, and I am full swing for the March 8th election. It's a presidential primary, and there's been some confusion. I'm getting lots of phone calls on that. A presidential primary is just that, where it's trying to narrow down within the parties to get ready for the November election, general election. So you do have to, in this election, whether you vote absentee ballot or you come in on election day, on your application, you are going to have to indicate, do you want a Republican ballot or do you want a Democratic ballot? And it is not because I or my election workers want to know which way you're voting or anything like that. That's the only way you get that ballot, to narrow down that party for the November election. If you don't select one of those, you don't receive a ballot. That's just how the presidential primary works. There are no local proposals for the city of Gladstone at this time. Sometimes there would be a third option if you don't care about Republican, Democrat thing going on, but you just want to vote a local proposal. There's a third option. If you check that, I will be calling, if you're voting AV, I'll be calling to say there is no ballot for a local proposal, because there are none. Would you want a different ballot type? So please remember that when you come in to vote, or if you need absentee ballots, those are available in my office. We're in full swing with all those, so please call if you have questions. And that's just kind of the unique one with presidential primary. There isn't always a presidential primary, but there's quite a few candidates to be narrowed down for November. So please, if you have questions, call me. I'll help get them answered. Or if you need a ballot, come see me. And I think that's it for now.
All right, thank you. All right, meeting's adjourned.